Hello, everybody. I'm Andrew Bermudez, co-founder and CEO of Digsy, and we're a commercial real estate startup. And what I do from time to time is interview impressive entrepreneurs in Southern California. Today, I have the fortunate opportunity to interview Christian Schmidt, who is the co-founder and CEO of Tidy, one of the fastest growing startups out here in Southern California. Focusing on local services. So with that being said, Kristen, you can take it over from here and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Yes, so we launched Tidy about a year ago. It officially launched in June, and we are a tech-enabled home cleaning service. So essentially we provide very lifestyle-focused home cleaning like you'd find at a five-star hotel. In your home, you can request it through an app, and it starts at just $40. All driven through technology.
And that's $40 a month or per event?
$40 per visit.
Okay.
So in a $40 Tidy, we cover the four areas that you spend the most time in your home. So the kitchen, the living room, the master bedroom, master bathroom, or you can customize any which way. But essentially for $40 per week, we'll keep your home clean all the time.
That's fantastic. And tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Tidy and how you came about building this company and who you're working with.
Yeah, so essentially my background, I've always been in service in some capacity. My background, I started with the Ritz-Carlton corporate office in their marketing and business development department, did a lot of brand strategy consulting, and then was just super passionate about hotels and hospitality as well as branding. So basically about a year ago, had left a company that I had been working with and thought, what is missing out there in the service space that provides a sophisticated service experience, but when you're within your own home? And after doing a ton of research into the home cleaning space and the size of the market and everything, it seemed like a really good place to start.
Okay, and did you are you the sole founder of the company, or do you have partners?
I've got partners, like investor partners,
Okay.
and so we connected, like I said, about a year ago, and said, like, let's do this and let's create a Ritz-Carlton in your home.
Oh, that's a good concept.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you guys just got a new office, huh?
We did. Yes, we did. We just moved, and you found it.
Oh, I didn't find it personally. I think our company did.
The company.
Yeah. So it sounds like you guys had a good experience using us, and we were able to get some good feedback from you guys to shape.
Yes, it was awesome.
So it sounds like you've been working at in other companies and more traditional, not necessarily tech companies. But how did you go about wanting to become an entrepreneur? What made you want to become an entrepreneur?
So I have always been, I have always loved the process of building something from scratch. So even with the various companies that I've been with, usually service companies like small to mid-size, aside from Ritz-Carlton, of course, but I've always loved that business development space and like literally building the process, finding, defining what a service is and creatively building the marketing side of it and building the brand identity and just getting it going. So I enjoy that process. I've done it for some other service type companies on a different scale. And I just am passionate about like the building piece.
Yeah, it's funny because that's similar to when I started my company. I actually came from services, so I was in commercial real estate brokerage for 12 years, and I saw a lot of inefficiencies, but we had to find a big market. And one of the things that I had enjoyed at my previous company was when I started off as a broker, independent guy, and then went out and built out a team, and then you have all these fragmentation and all these inefficient processes, and building out that part, even though it takes a lot of time, energy, and a lot of mental energy, really, aside from all the stuff that you have to do throughout the day. I think the funnest part is actually the building of it. Mm-hmm. So I find that in a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of successful entrepreneurs, that they want to create something from scratch and say, hey, you know what, I built that. Now, there's
there's also a speed piece too. It's like you don't have to wait for a big team to approve things. You just move.
Right.
As you go.
You can just pick up the guitar and start writing.
Yeah. Exactly. Like Tetris.
Now, let's talk a little bit about what you guys do. What problem are you guys solving? I understand it's a services. There's a lot of companies out there like HomeJoy, and there's a slew of other competitors. And how are you guys different?
I think in terms of how we're different on the service side, we are completely obsessed with service and getting it right and building a quality service experience that we own from start to finish. So starting with actually recruiting our homekeepers and certifying them under tidy standards. We've borrowed from the Ritz-Carlton a lot of how they educate their employees and kind of ensure that consistent experience. So that's something the space in general lacks. We place heavy emphasis on that, delivering little details like, a tidy bottled water by the bed. Actually.
You guys still do I had a tidy done when you guys first started.
Did you?
I love the service. And it was such a small gesture, but it was so awesome when I went up to my bedroom and I had a little tidy bottle of water and a little pack of gum with a beautiful ribbon on it.
Yes, exactly.
Are you still doing the gum?
We do little treats like that. We try to make you feel special in your own home, like you just came back to your, freshly turned hotel room. But the way that the pillows are chopped or a throw is folded, the homekeepers try to get to know you. So Andrew, if you leave slippers in your master bedroom, they'll place them by the bed, kind of just the way they think you want it. So there's a lot of personalization that goes into it that I think differentiates us.
Now you have a different model though, which is a recurring model.
Yes,
which is
correct.
Different than a lot of the competition out there, which they're transactional. You are more. We work in the background, automation. Don't worry about it. We'll clean your house.
Exactly.
Can you touch on that a little bit?
Absolutely, yes. So we launched with this recurring style with the goal of really getting to know our clients and providing a better and higher level of service for them. Also, as part of this, another way that we're different that fits into this is basically how we're able to provide this $40 tidy service that cleans just the specific areas of your home that you need cleaned. So a lot of other services that are out there, and it's been this way for years, they'll clean your whole home, and then it'll be a disaster, and then they'll clean it again a month later. But we want to come more frequently and just do specifically what you need.
Okay.
So we like to say it's the 80-20 Pareto rule that will cover 80% of those areas that you use, but it only costs 20%.
It's
a full home clean would cost.
It's funny because when we had Tidy Over, we mainly focused on the areas that are mostly used, and then the second week we actually had the other areas cleaned up, and it was a nice transition because you don't have to have somebody in your house the whole time. So that's part of what I liked about the service. And I know your model's changed actually over time. Before, what we had used it was transactional, but we were already moving to not using it transactionally, which was pretty interesting. Now, this whole program is about growth, and some of the things that your co-founders have talked to me about is just an impressive story on how you guys are growing non-traditionally. And I wanted to touch on that because we've gone through it as a startup, and we're still going through it, finding out what our levers of growth are. But I want to talk a little bit start with technology, whether it's web or mobile, and then how you guys went about getting your first 100 customers. And then we can talk about the insights and things like that. So let's talk about the platform itself.
Yeah, on the technology side, so we are, like I said, technology is driving everything about Tidy, which is also not traditional in the service space. So that's been a lot of fun. We're both web-based and mobile-based. We have a full, in-house developer team that are basically building a custom platform. So basically that includes the client app, the homekeepers who have an app and can use navigation and get to all of their up to 6 appointments per day. Their scores, it helps enforce the quality, all the way to the back end where the front desk is booking clients. And then clients can actually submit notes and book through the web as well. So like all of those 4 pieces, we're building a custom solution for that. Which is really exciting. And what was your second question?
Now, it's great to have technology, but without a customer, you're literally just wasting time. So let's go about how you guys went about getting your first 100 customers.
Yeah. So when we launched Tidy, we started first of all, we didn't anticipate it to launch so quickly. We started with 20 friends and family members and took a stab at what, spent a decent amount of time developing the service and what we thought would be the perfect service, then launched that among our friends and family. But that soft launch quickly turned into a real launch when they started referring us to their friends. So we basically gifted 4 tidies to 20 people, and very quickly within a couple of visits, they started referring us and we started bringing on paying clients. So that was probably the first iteration of our launch. We also tried and experimented with a lot of different tactics, from like in-person sales, like me going out, and walking into, a real estate company or a villa company.
What were some of the challenges in actually trying to grow your customer base?
Yeah, I think for us it was trying to understand who our target clients are, and we're still learning. But in terms of, understanding who already has homekeepers, who's looking for new homekeepers, who's interested to begin with, who can afford it, homes versus apartment communities, we uncovered another strategy which has been really solid, which is essentially marketing through apartment communities and allowing the leasing agents and landlords to kind of help us and market us on our behalf, because those companies, want to take good care of their properties too. So that's kind of another channel that we've explored. But in terms of other challenges related to the marketing piece, I think it's all about time and what you can do quicker and faster and get a return on.
When you're partnering up with apartment communities, do you have what sort of value are you giving them for them to actually promote Tidy?
So a lot of them get, people reach out, their residents reach out constantly looking for a solid service, and a lot of them don't have access to, because it doesn't really exist to date in a lot of areas, like a large enough cleaning company that's trustworthy, reliable, and that they can stand behind. So essentially there are a lot of smaller home cleaning companies, with 10 home cleaners and, individuals who start these companies, but it's tough for an apartment community to refer them if they can only handle 10 clients a week. So a lot of them get very excited about the fact that we can scale and handle their entire property.
So you're not paying them for referrals, you're just basically just being able to give them a trusted referral. So Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Now, what were some of the valuable insights as you've been growing the company? Because you've been doing this for a year now or longer than that?
A year, yeah.
And you guys have been just growing like a weed. It's been great from what I hear. What were some of the valuable insights that you saw as you were trying to grow that you weren't anticipating in targeting your customer base?
Yeah. Probably the most, this seems obvious, but really listening carefully and interacting with our clients to understand not what we think they should want, but what they want. So, I've been very involved. Our, entire team has been very involved with having conversations with them, understanding what they want, and then making changes quickly. Okay. So I think that's been a valuable insight.
What were some of the insights you discovered in the process?
In terms of
things that actually helped you grow. When you were listening to a customer, you're like, oh, and you had that aha moment of, oh yeah, you know what, this is actually what they need.
Like a client who may say, we created a premium service called a Mighty Tidy when we realized that the Tidy, which was the 1 hour, or the Tidy Plus, which is a 2 hour, wasn't enough for certain homes, or people did want just a whole home clean once a month to tack on with their tidies with a larger home. So we had to create a new service out of it and create a slightly more premium service with 2 homekeepers for 4 hours, and it's $240, which is a serious departure from the $40 piece. But a lot of people will pay it and want to pay it and love having 2 people for a total of 8 hours.
Oh, that's interesting. So while listening to your customers, you found out there was demand for this other product, and is that a recurring product as well?
Is it a what?
A recurring product.
It is a recurring product. So yes, so we offer the Mighty Tidy a minimum of once every 3 weeks, and we have quite a few clients who take advantage of it and love it. And a lot of clients who start with a Mighty Tidy and then go into other services.
Have you found, what were the challenges? I mean, definitely having a recurring model can be scary for certain companies in the services business because, like, for example, maintenance. Some people are apprehensive about signing up and having somebody come into their home recurrently. And there aren't really, aside from house cleaning, there aren't a lot of things that need maintenance like that on a monthly or bi-weekly basis. Did you have any challenges in trying to sell the recurring model? I remember you started off as a transactional model.
Yes, we did. We did start off.
Why you transitioned and kind of.
Yep. And ironically, yeah, we did start off that way. We wanted to really first prove the service, that worked, that people were happy with it, and kind of fine tune that. And then it was a mixture of intuitively feeling like it was time to make the switch, and knowing that where we wanted to go as a company, that's where we wanted to be. And I think once we learned that we were able to re-educate people pretty quickly on how our service is different from others and get buy-in on, okay, yes, I'll spend the same amount and get 4 visits a week instead of slightly more and get 1 visit a month, even though you're not going to do as much each visit. Once we kind of got buy-in on that, we thought let's just rip off the Band-Aid and move forward as recurring. And we were really, really excited about the response. We had very little fall off from our clients, which is cool.
That's great news.
So, right? Yeah, exactly.
That's one of those things where you're kind of jumping off a cliff and just hoping that somehow the ground is very, very soft and it'll push you back up.
Yeah, it's a huge change. But I think it's been validating for us to, as far as our retention goes, it's been strong, and so we're really, I think, doing a good job at targeting people who want a recurring service.
Who is your ideal customer?
The way we phrase it, we like to say it's if you use an iPhone and appreciate iPhone technology and lifestyle and everything that goes with that, you would appreciate Tidy.
Okay.
So it's, as far as what the demographic looks like, it's a lot of different people. It could be young families. It could be recently retired people who travel a lot and don't want to have to worry about it, young professionals. There are a lot of different lifestyles. Yeah. And people use us differently.
I see.
So there's not one specific profile, but it's it's a busy person who really values their time, and
So you're your customer then.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll be scary for your employees to go to the CEO's house and start cleaning and go, oh my God.
Right.
There's a luck of the draw. They flip a coin, whoever gets is just dreading the whole time. What's going to happen? But you seem like a nice person, so.
I am very nice.
So let me, I know that when we were talking about, the sort of questions we were going to be asking you, there's one that came to mind after you and I chatted, and it's you're one of the very few, and I mean very, very few, female entrepreneurs in Southern California. In the Bay Area, there are more. It's still a limited amount, but it's impressive because you've grown this company within a year. You run a team of mainly, not necessarily the staff that goes out there and cleans houses, but you mainly deal in a male-dominant company. And tell me a little bit about your experience as being a female entrepreneur, what the challenges are, and how you see, are there other female entrepreneurs that you engage with?
I've tried to, I've done my share of networking over the past year and shared stories and kind of compared notes with a small handful of other women that are doing something somewhat similar or working within tech companies. But I think for me, advice I would give is you really have to be bold and just kind of there's so many different things going on at all times. So you have to just stay super focused and not be afraid of making mistakes. And you have to be extremely proactive and make quick decisions and move fast. The level of decision making that we do on a daily basis, it's a lot. And I look back to other companies where I worked, maybe in management, but working with other people. And I think some of these decisions, they could have taken weeks to get approval on or for people to feel comfortable with, but I'm lucky to work with people who are like very progressive, so we just like make decisions and move forward, and don't spend a lot of time on things that aren't important.
Yeah, I think I resonate with that quite a bit.
It's all, yeah, it's prioritizing.
Go ahead.
I said it's all prioritizing, which you know.
Yeah, I used to think I knew what prioritizing was. I thought I was pretty good at it until we started this company, and yeah, you have to be pretty brutal. I mean, you have to cut off your own arm if that's what's going to keep the company moving forward when it comes to a decision, and that's just something that you know it's going to make impact is impact, this one wins, and this one just gets sidelined for a little bit, especially with limited resources.
Relentless. Yeah, relentless, and like for us, it's all growth right now. I mean, there are a lot of other priorities, but we just keep, those are constantly evolving, and then we just keep moving forward and growing.
How big's your team right now?
Right now, our internal team at HQ is about 16.
Okay.
And then I think right now we have about 60 homekeepers.
Okay. And those are independent contractors?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not sure if I think you fundraised before, and I kind of want to ask you that in light of being a female entrepreneur and what fundraising's like, and if you notice any difference between you and your male friends who have fundraised in the past. Mm-hmm. Can you touch on that a little bit about your experience?
Yes, of course. Yeah, so we just completed like a seed fundraise round, and it's a lot of work, as you know. It's a lot. It was a fascinating experience for me. It was the first time I had done it to this degree, and but you meet a lot of people. You learn how to pitch your company in a really quick way, and learn a ton in meeting with these VCs. So it was a very positive experience for me.
Did you feel at all, because of the fact that you were a female, were you treated differently, or was it harder or took longer for you?
I don't think so at all. I mean, I think we met with some phenomenal people, and I don't think there was a difference.
Okay.
I mean,
that's good.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk about the ones that actually gave you money. You can talk about the ones that didn't give you money.
Yeah, I know.
You know that, right? And you don't have to name names.
Let's just say, yeah, there were some challenging conversations. It's not a very heartfelt situation.
Yeah, give me your money. I've got this company.
It can be brutal, but it's also people are spending a lot of money, so it's important. So yeah, they just cut to the chase, but it was a good growth experience for me personally, I think.
How long did it take you to raise that round?
About 2 months.
That's awesome. That's fast.
Yeah.
Usually it takes 6 months for a lot of people.
Yep. I think we had really solid data going in, which helped. So it was just kind of telling the story and really communicating the vision.
So you as a CEO, this is something that I think most entrepreneurs struggle with who are in the CEO seat, and it's you've got the growth part, and then you've got the product part, and then you've got time, and you don't have enough time. So can you tell me a little bit about how you go about prioritizing what your day looks like pretty much, and how what time do you start, what time do you end, and kind of explain how you balance the two?
Yeah, so this is obviously always a work in progress, but I've tried to basically, we use Google Docs a ton, which is super helpful. So it's almost like I've got this dashboard where I can see, data, like real-time data of what's going on in every aspect of the company. So I keep an eye on all of this daily, like from the minute I open my computer the first thing in the morning till the end of the day, and just take like a check, kind of like a logic check on everything and look for red flags and make sure, there isn't anything like urgent and pressing, or if there is, I deal with that.
What's on Google Docs?
Everything from like our metrics of, every single new client that comes on, the homekeeper scores, how the quality of the homekeeping experience, all of the client complaints that are coming through, all of the billing for the company, all of our expenses,
How long do you spend on that each morning?
So many. I probably spend a decent half an hour first, just like kind of reason or logic checking all of those.
Yeah.
Making sure everything looks like it's on par.
Right.
And then checking in with the team, checking in with the front desk team, checking it with the homekeeper, operations side. Looking at, I study every morning. I look at the new zip codes where we're going to go for the following day. And so we call that our warpath. So really take a look at kind of like where we're going next. Does it make sense? Do we have enough homekeepers there? Do we still want to go to those zip codes? What's the CAC in those zip codes? And make sure that's all on par, and then have a conversation with that team and get that organized for the next day.
Okay. And that's around what time? What time are you?
I usually do that by so I usually start the day. I'll do some things from home. I'll be at my desk by 8, and I'll be looking at zip codes by 9.
Okay. And then what do you do with the rest of your day?
And then the rest of the day is usually spent on, I do a decent amount on marketing, like for future stuff that's going on. And then at any given time, we probably have 3 or 4 meaningful projects going on. So whether it's like inventory improvement and cost reductions, it could be, something related to certification where we're certifying the homekeepers. It could be something related to service in our front desk team. Right now, I'm revising the script that our front desk uses as we're about to launch our next version of Samantha, our platform, our tech platform.
Cool.
So probably spending the bulk of that time then on special projects.
Okay. And what about product? Because I'm sure you're pretty involved in product.
Yes. Yeah. So that would be, that's always, that's going on kind of all the time in terms of improving, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Product improvements. Yeah. So right now we're updating all the products that we use in the home. So that takes a decent portion. I'll probably spend at least an hour a day on that. And we're getting that launched next week, next Monday that'll start.
Okay.
Yeah.
And around what time do you would you say you either take a break for dinner? Do you eat at your desk, or what time does your day end?
I have been trying to, so if you asked me this 3 months ago, the day would not end. I try to wrap up by 6 or 7.
Okay.
And then usually there's an hour of, going back and refining or kind of getting things ready for the next day or something at night.
Yeah, that's good. That's fantastic. The life of an entrepreneur, right? That's a lot of mental energy throughout the day.
It is.
Do you is it Red Bull caffeine, or you're just driven by passion?
It's passion tea from Starbucks.
Oh, that's funny. I drink tea too.
I love it. Iced passion.
Yeah. You drink the passion tea?
Yes.
Okay, that doesn't have any caffeine, so you're just enjoying it.
But I think I have enough natural energy that
Oh yeah, right, whippersnapper when you were a kid too. Okay, so let's talk about one more thing. I kind of want to wrap this up. You've talked about growth. You've talked about giving us a little bit of insight of what it's like to be you growing this fast-growing startup here in Southern California. One thing that we love sharing, and I love to hear from our individuals that we interview, our entrepreneurs, is what tools do you use that you absolutely recommend to somebody else in your business?
Yeah, good question. So, Google Docs, I will give a shout out to first. It's phenomenal and total life changer for me. I've been using them for longer than just Tidy, but it's been amazing. Zendesk has been awesome, and Zen Payroll. Those are fantastic.
Okay.
What other tools that I would recommend?
I hear Slack in the background, by the way.
Slack is amazing. Yeah, Slack is our lifestyle, our ultra lifestyle. So we Slack a ton.
What do you guys put on Slack?
Everything. At any given moment, let me see how many conversations we have going right now. Slack is the best. We all have Slack accounts here, and then we have probably about 10 to 15 other conversations going on.
Okay.
Anything from our dev team to the iOS stuff, homekeeper management, inventory management, recruiting, front desk improvements, all of that kind of stuff. So
right.
Slack is awesome.
Okay. So any other tools that you would recommend?
I think that would probably be, those would be my favorites.
Okay. I want to ask one more question that I forgot to touch on a minute ago when I was asking what it's like to be you. When you started your company, one of the things that a lot of, and we're just having this conversation with an entrepreneur on Saturday, is since we're entrepreneurs, we tend to want to do everything. And that means different hats like marketing, product, specs. If you're more technical, you want to, sort of design a well-written spec for somebody, recruiting, all this other stuff. What's sort of like your defined role, or at least have you defined a role that your co-founders and co-workers and team knows that, hey, we got to take this away from Kristen and let her focus on this stuff? Like, did you have that conversation? How have you approached that problem, which is being pulled from so many directions on things that aren't really aren't supposed to be the CEO's job?
I think that's a tough one because, yes, I have strived to, like in the last 3 months or so, my goal was to kind of step out of anything operational that was just the day-to-day. I don't think it's entirely realistic yet, but we're getting there. But my main focus and role is growth, building, empowering the team, establishing a strong culture, and really, helping to empower people and bring out the best in the team that we've hired. But I think with so many different moving parts and so much changing constantly, it's not realistic to not be involved in a lot of the changes and things that are going on every day.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, in a perfect world, I think for the CEO of a startup, I think growth and looking at the next 6 months, looking at the next year, kind of staying ahead of the curve on some of those larger visionary pieces should be the priority. But you just have to do both until you get to the point where you can actually kind of step out a little bit more.
Amen.
So, as you know.
Yes. I've got the scars too, and I'm sure you do too, as it looks like. What advice would you have for entrepreneurs who are they've developed a product, it's got legs, and they're trying to get their first 100, 200 customers?
I think I may have mentioned earlier, but I think, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try a lot of different things. And basically just, I think, get creative, be bold, and track data. Okay. That would be my first advice.
Awesome. Well, hey, Kristen, it's been a pleasure meeting you on this Google Hangout on air. Thank you so much for your time. I know that you've got just a pile of things you have to do, so thank you for making the time. Happy New Year to you. And thanks, everybody, for watching this, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you, Kristen.
Thanks, Andrew. I really appreciate it. Bye.
Bye-bye.